Hey everyone, it's been a while but we are back. We are back and we have a range of exciting career videos which we'll be publishing in the next few weeks. But before we can get to those, there was one particularly important topic to discuss. If you follow me on any of my socials, particularly on LinkedIn, you'll know that I love sharing new job opportunities. Now if there's one comment or one message that I get without fail when I put these up, it's people complaining that they are never getting callbacks, they are never getting shortlisted. So I had a chat to our HR around what are some of the main reasons why this might be happening. This HR is obviously from the company that I work for, but the good news is that most of these companies use the same principles. So I think by watching this video, it should help you with your applications going forward. So let's get into it. These are the 7 reasons why your applications might not always be successful, why they don't get shortlisted. First up, it's the internal versus external applicant. If you are applying for a job and you're coming from outside the company, if there's somebody internally that has the same skills as you do and is also applying for that job, unfortunately the internal applicant will always get preference. This is not just something that's being pushed on by unions, but it's also beneficial to the company. There are certain retrainings that you don't have to do, certain medicals don't have to be redone, induction doesn't have to be redone, and that individual probably knows the culture of the company a lot better than somebody that's coming from outside. And again, it's always good to reward people that have been loyal to the company with new opportunities. Second up, it's about having connections within the company. Some companies, through the applications, will ask you outright whether or not you know anyone that's working within the company, or whether or not you're family with anyone that's working within the company, because they will go to those individuals and try to get a reference. Now this rings true with the statement, it's not about what you know, but it's about who you know. Thirdly, local versus non-local. And I'm sure you guys will have seen some of these applications, they will tell you that they would prefer for you to come from the area where the company is situated. Now this all has to do with something known as a social license to operate, aka keeping the community happy. So if you've got practices that are happening within a certain community, you want them to know that you will give them preference when it comes to hiring. So something that always comes up is people ask, what if the skills are not there within the within the community? And what you'll find is companies are put under pressure to actually go the extra mile and make sure those skills are taught to the local community members. So even your technical skills such as geology or engineering, the company is expected to send students to university with bursary so that they can get those necessary skills and then be brought back into the company. Now this might sound like it's a lot of work or too much work, but with the kind of money that a lot of these companies are making from resources within the company or support from communities, it's only fair that they do such actions to give back to these communities. Fourth, we have qualifications. Now this can be formal qualifications such as degrees, matric, but also things like having a driver's license. Sometimes it's got to do with having capabilities within a certain software. The one area where they are sometimes a little bit more flexible is around experience. So when they're asking for 8 years experience, they'll sometimes take in someone with 5 or 6. But that's because experience is a tough one. I mean, you might have someone who's learned a new skill for 1 or 2 years and then repeats it for the next 8 years. So although it's 8 years experience, but in reality it's about 1 to 2 years experience that's being repeated. And then you might find someone with 5 years where within that 5 years, they were learning new skills, applying it differently in different areas. So they've got more mobile experience. So I think when it comes to that experience portion, there's a lot more discussion to be had, and that's why sometimes they're not as strict as what you see on paper when they're asking you for 10 years or so on. But qualifications are very important, and I know we have a tendency to sometimes apply for things that we don't qualify for. The only time that will work for you if there isn't an applicant who actually qualifies. But I think in this day and age, with the high unemployment we have, chances are there are people with the right skills that are also looking for this work. So make sure that when you apply that you do meet the requirements in terms of what are the qualifications and the bare minimums that you need to have for that role. Up in 5th, we have diversity. Now diversity can refer to race, to age, to background, and this primarily depends on the team that you're joining. What is the element of diversity that they're missing? If I have a team that is overly male, I might be looking to bring in female energy to the team. If I have a team that is particularly old, I might be looking to bring in young blood, to bring in new ideas into the team. So this will depend greatly on the team that you're joining. What is the diversity goal that they are looking to meet? And I mean, this is largely out of your control. In sixth place, and this is one to expect because we live in South Africa, but it's the preference for previously disadvantaged personnel. And a lot of the time, the group that we're speaking about there is, people of color in general. I don't want to get into too much detail on that. I think it's been overly exhausted and you all know what it means. And now number 7, and the last one on this list, and this is the one that most people struggle with the most, ATS, beating the ATS system. ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System. Now this is a program that HR uses to do everything from advertising a role all the way to shortlisting. Now because this is not a human being, there are certain things that your CV needs to meet for you to be successful in getting shortlisted. So I'm going to break this ATS down now into what are some of the things that you need to consider. The very first thing is making sure that your CV is tailored for the role that you're applying for. So most of the time people have one CV that they're sending to multiple jobs, and that is not the right way to go. You need to consider each job as a standalone opportunity, look at exactly what the requirements are, what are the keywords that are used in that job description, and then you include those in your CV, truthfully of course. So find the things that you know are skills that you have and highlight them based on what the job description is asking for. So this will mean that every single opportunity you will need to revise your CV to be suited to the job that is being advertised. I know it sounds like a lot of work, and it is a lot of work, but this is the one way to ensure that your CV has a high chance of actually making it. And then there's templates, CV templates. So I've seen everywhere on Facebook, on Twitter and on LinkedIn that there are these very exciting templates that people are using for their CVs, and they look extremely beautiful. If I received that as a human being, I'd be very impressed with how they look and a beautiful picture and so on. But these systems, the ATS programs, they're not catering for some of the creative CVs that you're seeing out there. If anything, your CV needs to be as simple as possible. If you put their heading that says qualifications, you need to then put those qualifications in the right order, the most recent experiences being at the top, working your way down. But some of these templates that I've been seeing, it's extremely complex and it's got tables, and these tables fall away when you've got a program that's trying to read it. It needs to be extremely simple for the program to read. So your CV looking the best is not always advantageous to you unless it's a human being that is looking at that CV. So when it comes to your format on your font, much like the template, keep it simple. So don't go for creative fonts, don't go for exciting formats. Make sure that it's something that is easily read. When it comes to the CVs, what you want to impact the people that are reading it with is the actual content of the CV and not necessarily with how it's looking. Have the relevant skills. So much like what I said before, if you can see that the job requires you to have a certain number of skills, make sure to emphasize how you meet those skills, how long you've been practicing to get those skills, from work experience that you've done before. Just make sure that it's emphasized and it shows that, it's put in a certain way, you've put it in a certain way, because sometimes what the job description is asking for will not match how you've been wording your stuff, so you change it to match what that CV is looking for. And lastly, of course, it's the document itself, whether it's a PDF or a Word. In our case, we always prefer to get PDF. And I mean, sometimes what happens with the Word document is that you send it through and it gets rearranged somewhere in the system, and then words go missing and all that stuff. So, send it in PDF, but sometimes the company you're applying to will specify how they want that CV. So if they're asking for it in a Word document, then that's how you send it. If they're asking for it in a PDF, then that's how you send it. Main thing to remember is this system, the ATS system, will basically be taking some of the things that you put inside your CV, copying it and placing it in places where they think that information is required. So having these clear headings will help you. So if it's qualifications you're speaking about, you put qualifications and then you put them in the relevant order. If it's what else? Qualifications, work experience, you put work experience and then you put that in the relevant order as well, obviously going from your most recent experience to your oldest experience. One thing that we always put in our CV is that in this day and age you don't really have to worry about its references unless it's requested. So what I normally put in my CVs is references will be available when requested. Yeah, I mean, the world is an interesting place. You never know what people are going to say about you, so you don't need to, put that out there, except when it's required. And of course, if you're going to put people down as references, make sure that they know that they might be getting a call. And I mean, with that, you might as well check what is it that they're going to say should they get a call that is inquiring about you. So that's a quick summary from the discussion that I had with HR. If there's anything else I'm missing, please just include it in the comments, for people that are watching this, so that they can also be aware of what are some of the other things that they need to take into consideration as they apply. But from us as a channel, like I said, we've got quite a few exciting videos coming up. We've also got the giveaway video, which will be coming up in the next few weeks, so please keep an eye on that. And if you found this video useful, do like it. And do subscribe to the channel, because you don't want to miss out on some of the stuff that we've got coming up in the next few weeks. Enjoy. Peace.